Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Cannabis Show. All right, so I am always your hostess, Dr. Yolanda Henderson, and always joined by, who are you today?
Today, Hen Henderson.
What?
Esquire.
Okay. He's Hen Henderson Esquire today.
Yes,
all right.
yes,
That's
yes,
what you
indeed.
were last week. All right.
Yes.
So we're back, y'all, and we have lots of great news and entertainment as always. So y'all kick back, relax, and get ready to enjoy another show. Yay! We have a very wonderful guest today, and her name is State Representative Valencia Stovall, and she will give you some information about her and what she's doing now. She was the former state representative, so we were going to get her on the show, and we're going to have her to answer any questions that you have. But first, Mr. Henderson is going to give us the outlets to watch the show.
You'll go to your internet browser, statusnetwork.net, download the Status Network app. You can watch us there live. All right. If you're on Instagram, you can search at manifesttv.status. You can watch the show there. Facebook with Status Network LLC. On Periscope and Twitter, we're at status_network_. And Amazon Fire Stick and Roku devices. Type in Status Network for the search. Look for Manifest TV. And on YouTube, Manifest TV. And look for us, the Holistic Cannabis Show. If you want to call in with any questions or anything to say to either myself or our host, you can give us a call at 470-251-4647. Now, keep your comments respectful. I will Smith you.
No! Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show, but first we're going to go ahead and introduce our wonderful guest. Again, former State Representative Valencia Stovall. How are you today? We're doing just fine. We've had you on the show before, so we're happy that you're back. And we just want to hear what you got going on. You are a powerful woman, and you have lots of accolades and accomplishments that I can go on for hours talking about everything that you've done here in Georgia. So I want you to tell us what you have going on and tell all of our viewers, and let's, get supportive and stand behind what you have going on.
Well, first of all, thank you, Henderson. For allowing me an opportunity to visit your show again and just being in you all's presence. So the last time I was on here, of course, I was a candidate for U.S. Senate. I'm back again because so many of my supporters have asked me to get back into being an elected official again. And because there's a deficit when it comes to leadership in Congress for the state of Georgia, and that is why I decided to run as a Democrat for the Congressional District 5.
Oh, wow.
And that seat is the one that was previously held by the late Congressman John Lewis. And so, I'm a native of the city of Atlanta, mother of two, committed and bold leader, have had, I call it 8-30-30, 8 years as a legislator, 30 years as a business owner, 30 years as community advocate.
Ooh.
And so combining all of that together, I know that I've done it before as a state representative. And when you look at on a national level, it's just mimicking the things I've done on the state level, now taking it to Washington, D.C.
Ooh, honey, yes, I love that. You are amazing. Just believe we stand behind you, and I'm impressed. 8-30-30. OMG, I want to be like you. You are my role model. Hopefully one day I will be able to do something like what you're doing in the state and representing, and hopefully we can see you in Washington. That would be awesome, and everything that you've done and you believe in all of our dreams and hopes. So you have it. I think you will do really, really good. All right. So how can we support you? How can our viewers support everything that you're doing right now?
Yeah, so I want to, kind of tell the viewers about my platform, and it's very simple as well. It's the book, and the ballot. And those are phrases I first heard from the late Mayor Manny Jackson, who was the first African American mayor of the city of Atlanta and of any southern city at that time. My dad was his community liaison, and for those both terms of his office. And so, and I also used these same phrases when I first ran in 2012. So the bug is economic regeneration or rejuvenation, and that's where we have to look at our small businesses and how do we stabilize them when it comes down to justice reform, when it comes to workforce development. Right now, there's a shortage when it in our healthcare system, and there's other workforce shortages as well. Looking out for our seniors is important, and also people with disabilities and our veterans.
Yes.
And then the next one is the ballot. The ballot is voter education. We must, we can register to vote, but if we don't go out to vote, and that's where the decisions are made. Policies affect us every day in our decisions, and it depends on who you have in office, who's going to be committed and a solution-driven leader as to whether your issues will get taken care of. And the last one is dealing with the book, and that's education, reimagining it. Right now, we have a crisis. We had a crisis before the pandemic, but even more so now because of that loss of learning that happened during the time of the pandemic. So we must look at how do we be able to capture and educate every student. So our education system needs to be more student focused and not adult focused. And that includes apprenticeship programs for our young people. So, because everybody's not learning on the same level. And there are some students, you look at crime, I talked about it a few minutes ago. Most of the crime that you're seeing is happening from 18 and younger. And that tells us that there's some kind of focus that's not going on, or we're really not targeting those young people as far as what their career aspirations may be. And so those are some of the areas that I'll be focusing on, because as you look at it, our departments that we have on the federal level as well as on the state are underutilized. And so because they're underutilized, many people like you all have a small business. You also have a nonprofit as well, that you're running. But if you don't know about the resources that are on the federal level that comes down to the state, then there's so many more people that you all could touch. I know you were feeding so many families, and all of those things are resources that come from the top. But if it gets stuck in the middle and you don't know about it, then our community suffers.
Right.
That's right. You are on it. The apprenticeship program. We actually have been doing some apprenticeship and trade schools and things like that. So we want to get that connected here in Georgia. And I believe that you are the right one to help us and get this from a federal level on down to the state level where it belongs, where it needs to get, because we've contacted workforce and tried to get the information on apprenticeship program. And unfortunately here in Georgia, it has been a hard hit. And I'm one of those that when I go after something and I'm really focused on it, I'm really trying to get some results. And along with LED 360, which is Laterrence Dunbar's organization that helps with the apprenticeship programs and doing the philanthropy in the communities, we want to help. We want to be involved in getting the youth what they deserve. They deserve the mentors. They deserve the education. And now that we know that healthcare is one of the main aspects, we need to get these young ladies, these young men trained in the right field so that they will be off the streets, away from the crime, helping in the communities. And now we are offering a college class called the holistic medical cannabis, for those who get the cards, who have the access, but they cannot or do not know what to do with it. They don't know how to get the correct oil. They don't know how to take it. So you're just kind of throwing something new out here, which will be good for them to have it, but how to use it or how to administer it. And, just giving them education in general, because we have more than that class that we're offering. But of course, having those youth knowledgeable about everything, not just because If they take a CNA course at a trade school or at a college, they're going to learn about routes of administration of all medications. So now that we're adding or trying to add cannabis, that also needs to be taken into accountability. And then, Mr. Henderson, what do you have to say about it?
What?
About
what? Trade
Congress,
schools?
yeah, Congress and everything that you're doing.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you. Now, the House just voted
Oh yeah.
on my favorite subject in the whole wide world. And
You
I ain't
already
trying to
know,
put you on the spot. But what type of implications would that have, in your opinion, for a federal level passage of marijuana, or the MORE Act, should I say, versus as compared what's already on the legislation?
Okay. Well, the federal, because the federal is the one that actually regulates on what the different levels are considered as being illegal or substance levels. And so with it coming from the federal and coming down, of course, to the states, it would definitely be beneficial for those who are interested in that area. And a lot of times, the states are given, some level of leeway or freedom to do some things. But, I served on the working group for medical marijuana back when I first was elected, back in 3 years after I was elected, about 2015. I was on that working group. And it was the catalyst that really was able to get the bill passed in the state for the medical marijuana to be able to be distributed and administered. And so, but the reason that came up and you saw so many states having to do that on their own was because it was, the federal law was still in place that made, medical marijuana and the THC levels to be illegal. So if you went across the state borders to another state that did not have the passage or allowing the medical marijuana to be administered, there's a chance that you could have been arrested. And that was kind of the basis of that particular bill that came up before the Georgia legislative body when it came to that. So having the ease of those restrictions on the federal level does help on the state level. And of course, we had the bill that was signed in 2019 for allowing growers of hemp product producers and growers of the hemp product. So that will also help, because I was looking at it, reading a study, and it said that many people were reluctant about a hemp farm or whatever being close to their residence, because of their fear of what that meant, looking at hemp and then marijuana and not understanding, not educating. So this gives an opportunity for more education for our community about the difference in the two.
Exactly. You're totally right. Good question. Yes, the show's topic today is actually the federal legalization of cannabis. So this is a great opportunity for you to, give us your opinion on it. And when you get to U.S. Congress, how you would vote on it. That's wonderful to know that you have already a footprint in the industry. You already had your say, and you are for the having people knowledgeable about the different ways for medication. So it was House Bill 324. I remember being down there at the Gold Dorm, the Gold Dome, what we call it. Yes, but that was actually a great experience, just to go to the place where they have the information. And I would brag about it all the time when I used to go down there to get information about signing of the bill and meeting with Matt Brass and other House of Representatives and getting it. And so this is like, it reminds me of that law that was actually, we were waiting on it passed in the House, and then we were waiting on it to cross over. So now it feels almost like we're playing this waiting game. What's going to happen? What's going to happen in when it crosses over? And, it's just something we are waiting on, and it's past due time, I feel. But what do you feel about the time constraint of of all of this, and having to wait because it was kicked out before when it was voted on. It was voted for, and again the House representatives or the House voted to pass it, but again it was thrown out because of the end of the legislative session and those things that were going on.
I think it's important, with this particular matter, because it is so controversial. And it's important for organizations like yours and others to make sure they're continually to educate the community.
Right.
And educate the legislators. I always would tell people when I'm talking to my constituents that we as legislators don't know everything. We might have an area that we specialize in because of our life experiences, or it happens to be a business or a company that we work for, but we're not knowledgeable about all things. And so we depend on organizations like yourself to say, hey, this is the effect of it, and especially trying to decrease our thought patterns on, okay, it's going to cause this, it's going to cause that, because we might not be as knowledgeable as we should be. I can give you an example. The advanced practice registered nurses had come down to the Capitol one year, and they wanted legislation to be changed to allow them to be able to order X-rays, CT scans, and all of that, MRIs, because at the time they could not do it. And so I remember talking to them, what we call it on the ropes, when you talk to the legislators. And once they explained to me, because I didn't have an idea, I thought, that they already had it, or I didn't understand why they needed it. And so when they were able to break it down and explain it, that, many times people come into the clinic or the hospital or urgent care, and the doctor may not be there, but they have a certain level of training that they have received that allows them to be able to order. They should be able to order it. And they say if they don't order it, it ends up could be hazardous to or in a bad situation for that patient.
Right.
So those things like that. And once I told them, okay, then I told them, I said, now when the other legislators come out here, this is what you need to tell them, this, that, and this.
Right.
Because we're not, I didn't know anything about the healthcare field, because that wasn't my area especially. So I think organizations like yours and what you all have been doing over the past years is educating as many people, and especially the policymakers, are going to be key.
Yes. Well, we definitely want everyone to be educated. We've offered and continue to extend our offer for you all to come out and get educated for free. This is something that we just want you guys, everybody, to have the education that we are offering. And we have some pretty extensive education to where we're helping get the knowledge behind even why it became illegal in the first place. The history is so important, and just learning, how it's helping so many of thousands of people, including myself and my daughter, who suffer from epilepsy, and not just say that it hindered families. It did. It broke the community. We can't say that it didn't. And I mean, other than a class action lawsuit against the government, I just would say that this is a heartfelt, topic, because so many people get relief, who are not able to get the relief with the conventional medicine or the other ways that help people heal themselves, properly without the side effects. So that's just one topic, but we definitely want to send you. Georgia loves you. We love what you do and what you have done in the community. And we want to see you go on and represent us. So give us some information on who we need to contact, how we need to help donate, and where can we send those funds.
Yes, so if you go to my website, it's www.gostovall, that's GOSTOVALL.com.
Okay.
And when you go there, you can click on donate, you can click on how to volunteer. I'm on all the social media platforms at Valencia Stovall.
At Valencia Stovall. Okay, well, our viewers heard it here. Thank you for joining again. We want to see you back on the show again. All right. So we're doing bigger and better things in the community, and we can't wait for you to come by and see us.
Yes, I have to come back by. It's been a while.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Talk to you soon. And
okay, thank you again.
Thank you again for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Yes, indeed. All right, so we have a quick commercial that we're going to show in regards to what's happening around and what the news and the media is saying about the legalization of cannabis and how it passed in the House of Representatives. So right after this, we'll be back.
Yeah, that one look nice today.
My father-in-law, the United States House of Representatives, just voted to legalize marijuana across the country. The MORE Act would remove pot from the list of controlled substances and would be applied retroactively to any and all individuals who faced criminal penalties for manufacturing, distributing, or possessing marijuana, i.e. my father-in-law. It was passed with a bipartisan 220 to 204 vote. Now, Democrats in the Senate are finalizing the text of their version of the bill with the goal to release it this month, though not necessarily by, 420. I didn't even write that. I apologize. Joining me now is NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Leanne Caldwell. So not to make this about me, I know that a lot of people have experiences around the country, but my father-in-law was convicted of distributing quite a bit of pot, $10 million worth, frankly. Here's his mugshot back in the 80s, and he spent some time in jail. Tell me about what this would mean, not necessarily for him, but for people who have convictions having to do with possession or distribution. I know it's ruined a lot of lives.
It sure has, Katie. And this is a big deal. What it's doing is the federal government is really catching up with a lot of states. 38 states plus the District of Columbia have already legalized marijuana. 18 states in the District of Columbia allow it for medical use. But in addition to decriminalizing it, one of the big things this bill does is it expunges people's record who have been convicted of marijuana-related crimes. In the history of, it doesn't matter how long ago those convictions took place, 10, 20, 30 years ago. And so this is an attempt, Democrats say, to level the playing field and really get rid of the criminalization that, like you said, has ruined so many people's lives. Now, the vote outcome, just 3 Republicans voted voted for it, joining all but 2 Democrats. So this is still a very partisan issue, apparently. And yes, it then goes to the Senate next, Katie.
It's a partisan issue in Congress, but it is the majority of Americans want it to be decriminalized. When it goes to the Senate, Leanne, what is the likelihood that it will get a majority? Are all Democrats on board in the Senate for this even?
It's too early to tell at this point. This is going to be overwhelmingly popular for Democrats. Of course, it needs the support of 10 Republicans, but they don't have legislative text yet. Yes, they want to have something released by 420, but I don't know if that's the case. They haven't finished writing the bill yet. They say it's going to be much more a bit more expansive than the House bill. We're not sure how exactly, but the prospects are better this year than they have been in the history of this country to finally decriminalize this as that it's no longer a controlled substance. Katie.
Right there. Well, so
Federal legalization. Hey,
it sounds good, man. It sounds good, but you know what? I heard another discussion now, and another side of this thing.
What you hear?
So now people say, "Oh yeah, man, we all for the MORE Act." I'm all for the MORE Act too, because as y'all just heard the reporter, she listed all of the positives. All right. Did anybody go and read page 52?
No.
What happens if you're caught with marijuana once it's legalized?
Or to distribute it without it.
With the intent to distribute.
Right.
So you know what they mean? All the trap houses, all the homeboys, go immediately be out.
Business license.
Without that business license.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, most of the people that provide this medication for right now cannot go and obtain a license. Ooh.
But if their records are expunged and all of that kind of good stuff happens, or they can partner with another organization or another business. So we're trying to look at the bright side of it, though, still. Get with Mr. Henderson. He can help with the business because that's what he teaches over at the Atlanta Academy of Cannabis Science.
Right.
So there's ways around everything.
Well, see, now you got to realize that every time that they make something legal, they have to also attach a penalty for those who violate the legality of what they made legal.
Right.
So while we saying, yeah, the MORE Act is cool, you know what I'm saying, you also got to look at the what ifs now. What if you're on the opposite side of the fence once that law goes into effect?
Okay.
Because we all know that when a law is passed and it goes into effect, there is no learning curve. So that means the local law enforcement in that area that know where these places are, where the homeboys chilling, they could go immediately right then and arrest those individuals.
Okay.
So it's just a warning now.
Right.
Just a little warning. Now, the financial implications, though, is real good.
All right.
Because if they legalize it, now small businesses that operate in the marijuana space can now obtain federal funding, which means research can now begin here in the United States on what it is to be a user, as well as to be able to now open up grants. Businesses can get checking accounts, they can get savings accounts without having to go and alter the name of what they do or have to hide behind it by calling it something different if they pass this.
Right.
Now, it's been through the House a couple times already.
A couple of times, right.
All right. Hopefully this time they see we ain't going nowhere.
Right, right. All right, so we have a video clip on the finance aspect of cannabis. So we want to show that quick video and what it will mean for businesses who are actually indeed looking for this legalization to pass right after this.
Cannabis player Trulieve is out with earnings, delivering an 81% sales increase for the fourth quarter. The company is looking for more than $1 billion in sales this year as it expands the number of dispensaries. Joining us now is Trulieve's CEO, Kim Rivers. Kim, good to see you here this morning. 81% sales increase, very strong in a very competitive market. How did you drive that gain?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really our whole strategy is driven on increasing fundamentals and staying true to our strategy that we announced in 2020, which is expansion through a regional hub strategy. We increased both via organic growth and via acquisition. We completed the largest acquisition in cannabis history in October. And so really proud of the team and our ability to execute on the fundamentals. We increased both on the dispensary count and on our supply chain up around 100%. And so really phenomenal year, and kudos again to our entire organization.
Hey Kim, it's Julie here. So you saw that big growth. I'm curious about margins and profitability. You guys are posting positive EBITDA, but still net losses. How are you working to sort of improve those levers on growing the margins?
Yeah, so this was actually our first quarter post of a net loss, and really that was 100% attributable to the acquisition. If not for the acquisition, we would have had another strong quarter of net income. So look for us, again, as those one-time or non-recurring charges flow through the financials, which should be cleaned up in Q1. We'll be right back on track where we have been in terms of profitability, both in the net income line as well as in the adjusted EBITDA or EBITDA line. So, again, just some right sizing as we absorb and digest, again, that very large transaction that we completed at the end of the third quarter.
Kim, just staying on that, what Julie mentioned on margins. So your gross margins were down to 43.4% versus 71.2% last year. Are you seeing any inflation in your supply chain? What explains that beyond, I guess, the acquisitions?
Yeah, so if you adjust out for the acquisition, which we shared on this morning's call, we actually end with approximately, it's about 59% adjusted gross margin. So it's really a 10% swing when we look at it on a quarter-over-quarter basis, again, with that big acquisition coming in. And so the acquisition diversified our platform into additional markets, some of which are not optimized from an efficiency perspective. We will be adding supply chain in those markets throughout the rest of the year, and we do expect those margins to increase throughout the year. We did give longer term guidance set out 2 to 3 years with margin profile that we expect to hit at 60% at minimum on a normalized basis, along with 40% minimum EBITDA, which we believe is very achievable. To answer your question specifically about inflation, again, it's very different from market to market. Keep in mind that, of course, cannabis still is illegal federally, so our ability to have distribution continuity across the U.S. is non-existent. And so we do have, again, differences from market to market. What we're seeing is not necessarily an impact in particular basket sizes per se, but what we are seeing is consumption in general has softened a bit, coming off of the highest consumption time frame that we've seen as an industry during COVID-19. It makes sense rationally. Folks are, stuck inside their house and have more time during the day, whereas now, again, that's normalized. You add in inflation, you add in choices that consumers are having to make with expendable dollars, and the fact that our industry is primarily a cash business. Certainly, we have seen a little bit of softness as it relates to consumption, but again, not on a per transaction basis, just less consumers entering our slower growth period.
You mentioned, of course, the fact that it's not legal on a federal basis, and we've been talking about this issue a little bit this week because the House is voting on the MORE Act, which would decriminalize marijuana. From what we've been hearing, pretty standard view that we're not going to see federal legalization this year. If we did have something like safe banking pass, which prospects for that perhaps a little bit better, what does that do for your business?
Yeah, so the banking, as we've just mentioned, it's an all cash business currently. So having banking relief would do a number of things. First, it would hopefully allow us to expand payment options for consumers, providing greater access to cannabis across the country. It also would lower our cost of capital by allowing our access to typical lending rates. We have been subject to higher rates due to the fact that we are limited in terms of our banking partners currently. So having a more diverse network of banking options would certainly improve cost of capital. What we would love to see is some relief from a tax rate perspective, along with safe banking. Currently under 280E, just to give you a number around that, last year we paid a significant amount in taxes. I believe there was over about $100 million in taxes that we would not have had to pay had we been not taxed under 280E. So significant changes to our financial profile would come with the passage of safe banking, along with some additional federal reform. I would like to note, though, that I do believe that it's incredibly important for us to not only focus on safe banking, but certainly there I believe needs to be some form of criminal justice relief with letting out and expunging records. There should not be anyone behind bars for cannabis distribution or sales, given the fact that here I'm sitting with you on Yahoo Finance and in this seat selling cannabis in legal markets in the state structure today.
Kim, I have 10 seconds left. If cannabis does become legal, a lot of new entrants could come into this marketplace. How do they start? Do they start with cannabis? Do they start with edibles? Do they start with buds? How should they start bringing this into their life?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the individual. We certainly see, and I would say that inhalation products are a fantastic way to understand what your particular tolerance level and your response to cannabis is, because it actually stays in your system at a lower time period, about two hours or so, or fast-acting edibles. And I can't stress that enough because, edibles do digest through your system in a different way. And so the effects...
All right. That's what we teach. All of that over at the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science. And the Gift of Life Community Home.
Deja vu.
It sounds exactly like what we talk about. So we actually want you guys to go ahead and get enrolled. We have class that already started on last Saturday, and we should have more students in our classes. They should be packed out around the corner because of the legalization and things that are going on around the state. All right, so we have another quick video because we were just noticing that the Will and Jada topic just will not die. So we want to talk quickly about that episode and what's going on with Will and Jada. So if y'all have any views and you want to call in, please give us a call, Henderson. We didn't actually see, there's no handprint on there. Do you see this, Mr. Henderson?
And then before he got slapped, he already making a face.
He was already making a face like, I'm ready now, look, slap me, Will. You know what I'm saying? I still think it was staged. They're two actors. They've worked together before. It brought the ratings up for the show. You know, I'm just, what you think, Mr. Henderson? Go on. Okay, y'all gonna see what we're talking about. They have a history together.
Want to go someplace, that's a little quieter, maybe darker.
You're moving a little ahead of me, Big Willie, but I'm game. Let's do this.
Let's go. You know what? On second thought, I think this place will be just fine. Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Oh, no, it's my stomach. I probably should have waited about an hour before we danced.
So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. They already are comedians, they're actors, and I would have slapped him on stage doing that episode. I mean, that's just me. Y'all ain't heard nothing from me. What you think, Mr. Henderson? Be nice. Y'all know how he is.
Well, y'all, I'm gonna just say that due to certain things that's available technology-wise, script-wise, just be careful, y'all, because everything that y'all see ain't true. Just because you see something happen on the screen, you have to consider the source even with that. We're not really sitting in front of a waterfall. All right?
That was wet.
Yeah, because we'll be soaking wet. Some things that is going to be seen visually, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Right. Illusions.
Because, y'all, we cannot allow illusions that come on TV to distract us from what's really happening.
What you just said.
Everything that looks like glitter,
it ain't even worth your time.
Gold.
It ain't worth it. What are you commenting on people that's billionaires information, they business, they home life, they kids, they slap what they did on TV. Well, this is Oscars. But this is a actors award show. You see what I'm saying? So if we can have on the BET Awards what we've seen in the past, and nobody has said a word. Well, they said a word. They spoke out about some of the stuff Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and what's his name? Montero, whatever his stripping on the Satan. So me, myself, and I personally think that, hey, they need to cut Will some slack. I think Chris Rock understood, you know what I'm saying, it was a joke. But even if it was real, that's what I'm saying. I don't even believe it was real. What you think, Ms. Anderson? Go ahead.
You want me to finish?
Yes.
What I was saying?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Some stuff that you're going to see coming up is meant to divide you as a people, as a couple, as a family, as a house, as a person, as a business, as a nation, as a city, as a state, and as a world. Some of this stuff is put out here for you to see, for you to consume.
Right.
Just so you can be divided. A lot of friendships was lost behind the Will and Jada thing.
Preach.
Some wives actually questioned if their husband would actually protect them or not.
Preach.
So, I mean, If a dude is making a joke and that's his job, you really want me to go up there and punch the dude in the mouth because he crocked on you?
You better not.
Now, it'll be different if he put his hands on you, then that's different. We're going to rumble.
Right.
We're going to rumble all day long.
Go. There you
if
go.
he put his hands on you or make some kind of threatening gesture to you,
right.
Hey, yeah, we're going to rumble. It's going to be some smoke, not just in the city. It's going to be some nuclear kind of shit.
Right, and then what the mamas always say, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt us.
But see, some people who agree with what Will did, they agree from the standpoint of principle.
Right.
His wife was ridiculed, and right there where the ridicule happened or made fun of happened, husband, you're supposed to say something.
Okay, but not slap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
But see, that goes back to what you believe about the video. If you believe that the video and the slap was real, then that's how you probably typically feel.
But I still want to see the hand on him. If I would have had one shot of you know what I'm saying? I just would have been, I would have been more convinced that it was real. But anyway, we have to close out. So we have some news in the topic. My son, there he go. He went to his senior prom with, he was invited. So he was excited about that. All right. And then, so they had a good night. All right. Yes, that's my oldest boy. Yes, 2022. He did that.
My boy G-Skis.
GZ. Whoop, whoop. Know you watching, buddy. All right, so did you know hemp is an efficient biofuel? It grows on poor soil, so it doesn't compete with other food crops for valuable farmlands. It has a high conversion efficiency, meaning at least 97% of hemp oil is converted to biofuel. So y'all look at what's happening. Look how cannabis helps. All right, biofuel. We are looking for student volunteers. We know the summer is coming up. This summer, interact with our community beneficiaries and become a partner with us. We need students, so they make a difference this summer by joining now in the community outreach program. It's also a fun way to meet new friends. All right, we're talking about respectable youth. We're trying to help them become first-class citizens, and we do that by working together, mentors and everybody else. And that's the organization, the Gift of Life Community Home, and how we help youth in the community. So get ready, y'all. All right, so the Session Atlanta is having the Ultimate 420 Experience Wednesday for 2022 from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you have not already registered, sessionall.com is where you can RSVP. Joy's Pottery is now over at the Gift of Life Community Home selling CBD products. All right, so if you want to experience the health benefits of CBD, come by the clinic, get your wonderful scan that scans the whole body, and then get a wonderful recommendation of a CBD product that is great for your route of administration. All right, these products does not contain THC for the records. These are CBD. All right, so hemp is a resilient and durable option for limitless applications. 850 Industrial Hemp Summit, April 26th through the 28th. Industrial Hemp Summit. You all got to come out and represent. All right. And also join us for the inaugural Cannabis Festival in Mississippi. They are needing education, so we're going to go out and help out with some educational material and giving them the knowledge to get ahead. And it was sad that they got their legalization before Georgia did, but it's okay. We're going to all work together and get this squared away. All right, so another hot topic, we've been invited to speak at the G4 Summit in Vegas. Whoop, whoop. All right, so get your tickets now. It's May 12th through the 14th. This is your Bud Tender Awards. This is everything. This is the whole cannabis industry party, after party, couples party, whatever you want to have in Vegas is going to be great. So go ahead and get your tickets now. All right, so a wonderful detox is pineapple water, and it will detox your body, help you lose weight, and relieve joint aches and swelling. So if you want an alternative to the harsh medications, this is a great example of that. So get you a pineapple. This is pineapple season. So you all know citrus also is packed with vitamin C to help ward off any nasty viruses. So this is a natural antiviral as well. All right, so this month is National Poetry Month in April, so shouts out to all of our poets. We're going to try to get a poetry competition going over at the center, so give us a call if you are into poetry. We want to hear from you or hear you on the show. $50 gift cards. If you are interested in gaining $50, please call in the show. Mr. Henderson, what's that number?
470-251-4647.
All right, and get your card today.
Improve your score in 30 days. Get your free credit report and scores, identify negative accounts, pay off your credit card debt. Contact collection agencies. If a collection agency won't remove the account, don't pay it. Dispute negative items on your credit report. Dispute credit inquiries on your credit report. Get added as an authorized user. Scores go up in 30 days when you do those things. How to fix bad credit on your own? Pull a copy of your credit report. Figure out where you stand. If you find the errors, dispute them. Pay all the bills on time going forward. Pay down credit card balances. Stop the bleeding right now and don't apply for new credit until you get your credit situation fixed. We can help you with that. www.nchcredit.net.
All right, let's play sports. All right, Stockbridge, Georgia is having their league registration April the 4th through the 16th. All right, so that's tomorrow. Coaches and referees are needed. Our own would be with the same company, the same teams. We're going to be in Riverdale, Georgia. All right, starting April the 15th. So we'll be having our orientation coming up soon on April the 15th. So get ready, get ready, get ready. Get those youth prepared.
Strain of the day is Dosidos. It's a hybrid strain. Oh yeah, it was the strain of the year in 2021. It's 20% THC, 1% CBG, and it's mostly terpene is limonene. Dosidos is known as Dosidos, like the Girl Scout cookies, is an indica-dominant hybrid marijuana strain with quality similar to its parent, OGKB, a GSC phenotype, with glittering trichomes, bright pistils, and lime green and lavender leaves. Dosidos weed is a feast for the eyes. Its aroma is pungent, sweet, and earthy, with slight floral funkiness. These classic OG strains aromas blend nicely with the medical grade body effects that lean toward the sedative side with the addition of face-off OG genetics. Those who smoke Dosi can enjoy a stony, in-your-face buzz off the start that melts down all over the body, prettifying the consumer with relaxation that emanates outward. The dominant terpene in Dosidos is limonene.
All right, a limonene strain. If you're a student, you know what that strain means. It's a great vitamin C packed strain, cannabinoid. I hope y'all like my hat. What y'all think about it? All right, so I had to throw that in. But if you want to sponsor and be a partner of the Gift of Life, please give us a call, 1-888-959-2093, and you can become a member for only $10 a month. All right, and a membership includes wonderful benefits, including Mr. Henderson's credit repair and the classes at discount rates. So we want you to join us again. Classes start this Saturday, but it's not too late. You can still join. We still have time. All right, and thanks for watching. If this is your first time, we will be back next week, same time, same place.